She can fake it for the photo ops, but we know that Kamala Harris wholeheartedly supports the chaos at our border, the chaos in our streets, and the chaos in the families who have been victims of her open border policies. Border Czar Harris outlandishly compared ICE to KKK and radically called for the ICE to be abolished. She also posted the Minnesota Freedom Fund to bail out violent Black Lives Matter terrorists who burned down cities, looted stores, destroyed communities, and caused over $2 billion in damage to American communities all over America. Kamala Harris is not only the border czar, she is also the czar of chaos. And her policies have destroyed America.
You can always tell when we're getting closer to an election because these extreme members of the Republican Party, they literally turn up the volume under xenophobia. And they're doing it again with HR 1371. They lie about immigration and public safety. I mean, when you look at studies, it shows that immigration is actually associated with lower crime rates. They fear-monger, they dehumanize, while they're also quoting scripture, which is kind of hypocritical. And they scapegoat asylum seekers, people who, just like my parents, want to seek a life of dignity and hope and have faithfully contributed to their community and to our collective economy.
Since being appointed by Border Czar by President Joe Biden, Kamala Harris has undoubtedly been a complete failure in her job and has destroyed our country by releasing a record-setting levels of criminals, rapists, and terrorists into our communities. Despite the attempts of the fake news media to whitewash her appointment as border czar, as Axios correctly reported, and they're now lying and say they never did, she was in fact labeled a border czar by nearly every major news outlet across the country. Border Czar Kamala Harris said, "Do not come," yet proudly welcomed 11.5 million illegals from over 160 countries, including over 2 million known gotaways who completely evaded U.S. authorities. She stood by and allowed these people to come in and idly watched our children and women being raped by illegal alien criminals. She's not just allowing them to come. The policies of the administration allow the CBP One app to import over 400,000 illegals into American communities. Under her watch as border czar, this has happened.
As I walked in here, all I heard was what I hear in committee: constant criminalizing of immigrant communities. And so let me tell you, I rise in strong opposition to House Resolution 1371. What this is: more lies, more representations, and more inaccuracies. When the majority cannot pass bills, what do? They introduce blatantly political resolutions that consistently target powerful women of color. They are willing to vilify and misrepresent the sitting Vice President of the United States for her diplomatic work to address the root cause of migration from Central America. If my Republican colleagues actually cared about immigration or border security, they would address the conditions that drive people to the southern border. They would pass spending bills that invest in foreign humanitarian assistance and international development programs, and they would participate in cooperative efforts to realize a world where people can build their life they want back at home. But they've done none of that. Just this week, I didn't see any of my Republican colleagues at my Congressional Caucus on Global Migration. Instead, they want us to waste our time on legislative gimmicks and sham resolutions to score cheap political points. Enough. Seriously, enough. We've been here, we've done this, it's deja vu. I am tired.
I yield, gentlelady, an additional 30 seconds.
Gentlelady is recognized for 30 seconds.
They continue to shelve their mass deportation BS. And I'm so tired of it. Let's get to solutions. We should be talking about appropriations. We should be talking about how we make sure that things are working for the American people instead of criminalizing people that are helping us boost our economy. So let's vote no on House Resolution 1371, and let's be done with this waste of time. I yield back to the ranking member.